Hello, it's me! You remember me. So normally this video is a list of news stories you might have missed, but enough's enough and it's time for a change. We're experimenting a little with the Sunday video and thought that trying out lists of mini booking ideas, slightly more evergreen content, that might be a bit more fun than just learning about which wrestlers have been bitching about each other on Twitter. With that in mind, hope you enjoy this. Let us know if you have any more suggestions for what you'd like to see on a Sunday. I'm Adam from WrestleTalk and here are 9 fantasy booking ideas for Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. Number 1, the Bloodline turns on Sami immediately, starting off this list of micro bookings with the least desirable of all outcomes given just how darn good this storyline is right now. Nevertheless, WWE could potentially pull a massive swerve and have Sami cut out the Bloodline effective immediately. After all, Roman's face in the hug at Survivor Series could suggest that the fact that Sami has betrayed his best friend KO, that might just be final proof that Sami is not trustworthy after all. Cutting the legs out from under Sami right when he's at his most happy and in the Christmas season as well would generate volcanic heat for Roman Reigns. While this is an unlikely scenario, WWE did do something similar with Seth Rollins turning on the Shield the night after their most dominant win, so there's precedent. With Mania season approaching and fans attempting to fantasy book the Bloodline's path to the show shows, WWE could well and truly rip out everyone's heart in an instant if they ultimately went with this option. Number 2, Sami cost the Usos the tag titles. Alright, so now the ultimate swerve option's out of the way, we can move on to some outcomes that could instead start slowly cracking away at the Bloodline's armor rather than destroying it altogether. If Roman is in fact facing The Rock at Mania this year, it seems like we won't be seeing a new world champion until probably SummerSlam at the earliest now, so instead, WWE could decide to make headlines by ending the Usos' record-breaking tag team championship reign instead. Despite Jay and Sami now burying the hatchet, you can't help but feel that if Sami was to accidentally cost the Usos their championships, the hatchet would be dug up and reburied, but this time in the back of a red-headed Montrealer. While it's easy to picture Jay being the one to lose his rag, perhaps WWE could also add an additional swerve by having the usually cool, calm and collected Jimmy be the one to kick Sami to the curb. R.I.P. coolest secret handshake in the business. Number 3, Sami and Solo win the tag titles. The Bloodline resembles a cult in a few ways. They've got their own hand gesture, all glory is distributed to the top, and unswerving obedience is a must. And what better way to curtail independent thought than by generating a bit of who loves daddy more infighting. Roman pitting Sami and Solo against Jay and Jimmy keeps the Juicy Usos in line. Or failing that, say the Usos lost their belts another way, Roman could punish them by giving their rematch to Sami and Solo instead, which would obviously reignite tension between the Usos and Sami. With jealousy brewing, one or both of the Usos could snap and cause irreparable damage that leaves Roman with a serious decision to make: reinstate the Usos and kick Sami, or send Jimmy and Jay packing. Number 4, Sami wins the US title. One of the defining elements of the Bloodline is dominance and authority over the rest of the roster, and there is no more obvious way of visually conveying that than having all the members draped in gold. While we were close to having this visual when Solo briefly held the North American title, still a baffling decision to strip him in my opinion, Sami has yet to have a sniff of a title since becoming affiliated with the group. While Solo could potentially go back to NXT to get his title back, or even dethrone Bron Breakker, Sami could instead set his sights on Raw's United States Championship. Why not the IC title, I hear you mewling? Sami is technically on SmackDown after all. Well, quite simply, I don't want Walter to lose. Keep that IC strap around his waist for a year. I don't have to give another reason other than that. It's Walter. He's awesome. Having Sami capture the US title would help legitimize himself amongst the Bloodline and finally see him pull his weight under the demands of Roman. Not only that, but Sami's win could potentially replant some seeds of discontent between himself and main event Jey Uso, who has yet to ever win a singles championship himself. Number 5, main event, Sami Uso. With Sami now an established singles champion, perhaps an impressed Roman sees him as a true right-hand man instead of Jey. Even further than that, Reigns could dub Sami main event Sami Uso. Jay's former feelings of resentment towards Sami could once again arise as Sami is taken well and truly under Roman's wing, becoming the red-headed stepchild that Roman's always wanted. Could we potentially see Jay turn on Sami in brutal fashion in his hometown of Montreal, leading to what's weirdly one of the most unexpected results for a grudge that's been running this long? An actual singles match between Jay Uso and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, with Jimmy unsure which side to pick, his brother or with Roman's pick, Sami Uso. Number 6, Sami and Kevin Owens reunite. I mean, this one's a given, right? I mean, sure, Owens has officially friendship broken up with Sami, but even KO admits he's done the exact same thing to Zayn in the past. They betray each other. They're destined to do this forever. Most fans believe that Owens will become factored into Zayn's eventual split from the Bloodline, whether that's a reconciliation after Zayn is betrayed by the group, or whether Owens himself is the catalyst for getting Zayn to finally see the light. So how about this? Roman brutalizes Kevin Owens at the Rumble. Maybe it's a no-holds-barred match. Maybe he tells Sami to bash Kevin's head in with a chair, and Sami can't do it. The Bloodline violently ejects Sami. He's beaten to a pulp by all 4 men, only for Owens to make the save, leading to, first of all, Sami versus Roman in Montreal, which Sami unfortunately loses, but my God, the crowd. Following this, Owens challenges the Usos to a tag team title match in Hollywood. Zayn returns complete with his old theme, NXT haircut, attire, and everything, and he leads his team to a truly euphoric title win, and that's the one that's probably actually going to happen in real life. Number 7, Sami Zayn helps The Rock win the Royal Rumble. So, I think we're all expecting Dwayne to be the one to challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood. And if that is the case and the stars do align, Rock must first find a legitimate path into the WrestleMania main event. And if Roman's still going to be champion, and it looks like he's still going to be champion, there's only one world championship in the company. So that pretty much backs WWE into a very specific corner. The Rock has to win the Royal Rumble. But how exactly would that factor in Sami? Well, quite simply, Zayn could be the one to help Rock win the Rumble match. Sami could deliberately assist Dwayne, acknowledging him as the true head of the table by propelling him into a clash with his cousin for the undisputed title. Option 2, however, and how I would personally do it, would instead be an accidental assist, a crucial slip-up that leads to Rock winning the match. Perhaps the final 5 men in the match could be Sami, Jimmy, Jay, Solo, and The Rock, and somehow Zayn becomes responsible for eliminating one of his fellow Bloodline members, maybe Jay, with an errant haluva kick. It almost writes itself. An enraged Roman lays the blame solely on Sami for allowing The Rock the opportunity to face him and brutally kicks Zayn out for good. Number 8, Sami wins the Royal Rumble. Oh, now, while the last option was an enticing one, there is an even better one WWE could do. If The Rock is unable to make Mania, for whatever reason, or simply if they decide against it, they could have Sami Zayn himself win the Rumble instead. I want it so much. I mean, do I even need to explain how good that would be? Zayn is the most organically popular wrestler WWE have had since Daniel Bryan. And while they missed the mark with Bryan when it came to Royal Rumbles, WWE could ensure they don't make the same mistake again by going with the part-timer over the white-hot homegrown star. Zayn could even pull out an Iron Man performance lasting the entirety of the match to truly solidify his main event push. Similarly to Batista and Triple H at Mania 21, Reigns could attempt to talk Sami Zayn out of the match, perhaps suggesting to challenge for a mid-card title. Hey, you had the NXT title, didn't you, Sami? Wouldn't you like to hold that one again? Only for Zayn to reject his notions and go for Reigns' undisputed championship at Mania 39, which leads us to our last entry, number 9. Sami Zayn beats Roman Reigns. And look, I mean, let's be honest, this is most of our dream conclusion to the whole thing, and I don't think it's gonna happen. And you know what? That's probably fine. But just for the sake of talking about it, let's talk about it. Even if we don't get there via a Rumble win and Mania main event, and WWE plays this out over a longer period of time, or even it could happen in Montreal. Imagine the pop if The Rock costs Roman in Montreal and Sami Zayn picks up the win in his hometown. Holy God. Then you can have Rock versus Roman for personal stakes at WrestleMania, and maybe Sami versus Kevin Owens for the title. While such a thing would have been unthinkable in Vince McMahon's WWE, under Triple H, this outcome could become a reality. After all, Zayn is a Triple H guy, the former heart and soul of the black and gold. By making Zayn champion, a gargantuan statement could be made as to how Triple H's WWE is going to look going forward. A place where the fans' voices are heard and organic popularity is rewarded with main event pushes instead of public burials. Not since the aforementioned build-up to WrestleMania 30 have WWE had such an opportunity. And while Vince eventually, perhaps forcefully, saw the light and threw the fans a bone with Bryan's coronation, maybe, just maybe, Triple H sees Zayn defeating Roman as the ultimate culmination of this story. I am ready for it. I think we're all ready for it. And that is our list. What other plans would you like to see going forward for Sami Zayn and his relationship to Roman's bloodline? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this tweak on the Sunday list, do let us know. Give us more suggestions for what you'd like to see. Make sure you're subbed to WrestleTalk for more up-to-the-minute wrestling news. And never forget to jam that jam.